Thank you very much for staying with us. This is Smart 24 TV, and we are dedicated to drive your business. And today we are talking agriculture business. And if you are an agriculture enthusiast, and you should be really, because our country is an agricultural country, as we all know, the entire world does know, and that's why we are called the Pearl of Africa, because you will find every single crop you're looking for in the entire world here in Uganda, and it will grow so long as it's Ugandan soil. And I'm still talking to Mr. Onen Moses, who is from Pelham, and we have talked widely on the different matters that that agriculture is facing currently, and we have also looked at the ecological agricultural perspective, looking at sustaining agriculture, but also in an interdependent way, without harming the environment, without harming the soil, but having all these other parts come together to support each other safely. Now, Mr. Nen, we would like to turn into some of the solutions. We've talked about very many challenges that the sector is currently facing. But in your own opinion, what can be done, especially to overcome the challenges, for example, concerning fertilizer? There have been arguments that too much fertilizer in the soil is actually rendering it unviable in the long run, because you find that if you apply fertilizer this year, the next year you apply fertilizer, at a certain point that fertilizer will no longer be able to make the soil fertile, and then you move to another one like that, which is increasing cost of production, but also coming at the cost of our precious land. Land which was able to produce crop without any fertilizer can no longer do it without one. So how can we safely move into modern agriculture, trying to fight the current challenges of pests and diseases, but also not harming the environment and other things surrounding agriculture?
Yeah, thank you once again. It is a blessing that currently in Uganda, farmers are increasingly embracing organic fertilizers, and government is really supporting initiatives towards the production of organic fertilizer. We have a number of farms that are now on the market producing organic fertilizer, and our farmers know where to access them. This is the way to go, in my opinion, and I wish to call upon farmers that now that we have the organic fertilizers being produced in the country, it's not like those other days that we didn't have this in place. There have been a lot of research conducted in developing very cheap technologies of producing these fertilizers, these organic fertilizers. And this has been possible. And right now, we have simple technologies that can be adopted by our farmers, especially the model farmers, the commercial farmers in the villages. They are not very expensive, and we all know that we have all the inputs that we require to produce the fertilizers, like animal waste, we have them, like charcoal dust, we have them, like plant products, we have them. So I think it's high time we embraced the production and use of organic fertilizers. Mm-hmm. The inorganic fertilizers will increase the cost of production, yes, but also kill our soil to the extent that reversing would be very difficult. Let's only leave it to factors of pollution for plastics and so on, but not us adding with the deliberate use of fertilizers. We know we're also fighting the plastics, the carberas from the environment, which are also affecting the soil health. In terms of repellents for pests and control of diseases, yes, I also still I think we have very much organic concoctions that the farmers can use. We have ashes which are very natural. When you mix ash with the water or with the urine from the goats or from cattle, all bring the concoction that can, in one way or another, help you on your farm. We have onions that we can use. We have red pepper and the hot pepper that we can use in different concoctions to deal with the matters of pests and diseases. But we also have natural repellents that we can use instead of us spraying. There's a variety of onion that is very good at repelling the aphids that affect tomatoes. So just a matter of getting the information. When you're planting your tomatoes, you intercrop it with onions. And in that way, naturally, you'll be controlling.
So there are actually ways you can do that.
Yes, they are. Repelling like reptiles, like the snake. You can use lemongrass. You can use marigolds. You plant around your garden, and these reptiles will not cross. No. But you find people saying you have to get these the tablets for repelling snakes and so on. You use this tablet. First of all, they're poisonous. And when you drop them in the soil, it gets absorbed in the soil. And if they are poisonous for human beings, how poisonous are they now to the insects that are in the soil? So there are better ways that we can still use to deal with these issues. They have been there from time immemorial, and our ancestors have been dealing with them without chemicals, and yet they sustained the production. Then also the other way that I think it's now outside the fertilizer and soil, and yet another way of improving adaptation to the effects of climate change is finding innovative ways of increasing the water for production. This can be enhanced through the technologies of harvesting water. It can be rainwater, or it can be from another source.
I've seen people nowadays dig very big trenches in their gardens and even holes. They put some black poly bags and they trap water, rainwater.
Yeah, those are underground tanks.
Okay.
You can dig that tank to whatever capacity you want.
Okay.
That can store for you water. And it has worked for farmers.
Yeah.
Especially for horticulture and even other crops like maize and so on. It has worked. So we think such simple technologies can be adapted and can help our farmers. Yeah. We also have technologies of irrigation, simple technologies of irrigation. The other day the president was talking about recycling
the bottles,
and using them in simple irrigation technologies. Yeah, those ones work. But also we have other more simpler technologies that uses the pipes and so on. Then the other one is adapting to sustainable land use practices. How do you keep the moisture in the soil without letting the sun take it away? So we have practices such as mulching that help. We have grass everywhere. It's a matter of cutting grass, then mulching, yes, and doing it correctly. Many times farmers adopt this approximately. So there's need that we invest in extension, and this also speaks to what government has to do. One, in terms of the policies, government should put the policies in place that support extension services. The current extension staff, in terms of their training, they are so much inclined towards a conventional agriculture, use of pesticides and so on and so on. But we think the curriculum has to be improved and enhanced to recognize organic practices, use of concoction, development of the concoctions, and many others, so that we also promote the organic sector. Then another thing that also government can do is to increase access to finance.
Yeah, finance is also a big issue. Yeah.
Yes, we have insurance scheme, the agriculture insurance product, which is good, but we need more access to finance. And then also post-harvest handling.
Yeah, that was a big issue. I remember we had this issue with our maize in Kenya, where they said we had some impurities that
aflatoxins,
yes,
especially,
yes,
because of post-harvest handling, poor post-harvest handling. So policies should target these areas. Yeah, and then also the issues of storage. This may look very simple, but it costs a lot in the sector. One is that if you have poor storage, it also dictates on the kind of production. You can't produce in bulk when you have very small storage. Yeah. One of the leaders was sharing at the joint sector review that she planted cassava 2 acres, and there was no single storage for that volume in the sub-county where she was coming from, and there were like 20 farmers, and the cassava ended up rotting the garden. So issues of storage has to be dealt with in a policy manner. And finally, issue of weather information dissemination, which has to be accurate. Now we are glad that in the last 2 weeks, I think, we're able to launch a satellite in the space. And this satellite, we are told, it will deal as well with information regarding agriculture, agro-industrialization. So we think
weather patterns.
Yes, weather patterns. This information should be really precise. Should be dependable
and also accessible
to
farmers.
To farmers. Okay. I know the policies should target those different channels of information dissemination and making them accessible to the farmers.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Nen Moses, for your time. Unfortunately, our time is fast spent. We would have gone on and on. There's a lot of discussion really when it comes to our agricultural sector. But thank you very much, Mr. Nen.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We've been talking the agro-economy, and I've been with Mr. Nen Moses on set. He's from Pelham, and they do represent different policymakers in the agricultural sector and help to promote a sustainable agricultural economy here in Uganda. Some of the issues that came out were the challenges facing land usage, and we are saying that we are using only 35% of the 85% arable land in Uganda. And one of the issues was land fragmentation, where we don't have consolidation and specialization when it comes to land. We also had land governance. Our normal customary land ownership is not that strong, and we do have land conflicts that do affect how we utilize our land. There was also technology, where we need now to adapt to new technology besides the hoe, the panga, and the other simple tools. We can still get into small mechanization agricultural methods that can help us to do more than just subsistence farming. He talked more on ecological farming, which is a more natural form of agriculture and looks at sustainability but also interdependence between the farmers, the land, the wildlife, the pesticides, and so on and so forth. So we are looking at a more sustainable, natural way of controlling the elements so as we have a better agricultural economy. My name is Anthony, and of course you can catch the show next time. And for now, and from me and the team, goodbye and see you another time. Bye for now.
Smart 24